My beloved child, I have watched you pour your heart into things that were never meant to hold it. My heart aches as I see you call the very things that are destroying you your reason to live. You have drunk the poison of this world and called it life. You have laid your head upon decaying dreams and called them hope. You have clung to those who do not truly love you, yet you believe I am the one who abandoned you. You are slowly dying in what you think is keeping you alive. But my child, it is not that you lack love. It is that you are feeding your soul with things that were never meant to sustain it. You once thought that if someone truly loved and accepted you, your heart would finally find rest. You believed that success, recognition, and admiration would fill your emptiness. Yet the more you gained, the more hollow you felt. The applause faded too quickly. The praise could not quiet the loneliness that came with the night. You are searching for life in things that only drain it, but I and I alone can give true life. Do you know why you are constantly disappointed? Because you place your hope in what is finite. This world was never meant to carry the weight of your broken heart. It was not designed for that. The love you long for is not something to be bargained for with effort or perfection. It is a gift given by the one who knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. And I am that love, the love that never leaves, never conditions, never changes with the seasons. Do not let illusions steal what is true. Do not let the glittering lights dim the eternal light. You were not made to die a slow death in shallow striving. You were made to live fully abundantly in me. Return to me, my beloved, for the only life that never fades is the life that flows from me. Everything else, no matter how dazzling, will one day go dim. My beloved child, I see in your heart the deep longing to belong, to be seen, to be loved. That desire is not wrong. I placed that yearning within you. But what grieves me is when you try to satisfy those holy desires with things that were never meant to bear the weight of your soul. You have looked to the ones I created and given them the place that belongs to me. You hoped that if they noticed you, accepted you, stayed with you, then you would feel complete. But my child, they are not your savior. I am not jealous of the love you give others, but my heart aches when you place your trust in the wrong things. You offer your heart to what is made from dust and expect it to give you eternal life. You wait eagerly for words from people, but forget that I am whispering your name every day. You search for a tender gaze and miss the eyes of the one who loved you even when you turned away. I do not ask you to withdraw from the world. I simply ask you not to call an idol your purpose. You run after good things, but you let them consume your heart. Fame, achievement, talent, beauty, none of these are evil. But when you see them as your salvation, you will always be let down. For nothing created can ever replace me, the one who formed you with eternal love. I want you to rejoice in every good gift, but I also want you to remember I alone am the source of all that is good. My beloved, return the throne in your heart to the only one worthy of it. I do not say this to rebuke you, but to remind you I am the only safe place for your heart to rest. The things you lift too high will one day fall. And I do not want you to collapse with what crumbles. Come back to me. Give me first place in your heart, for only in me will you be truly kept. My beloved child, I see you running endlessly, trying to earn someone's attention. Each day you alter yourself a little more in your words, your actions, even in your dreams, hoping someone will notice you and say you matter. But my child, when the eyes of the world become your only mirror, you will always feel not enough, because those eyes were never meant to be your source of life. You long to be seen, yet you turn your back to my light, the light of the one who has never looked away from you, not for a single second. You believed that if you were impressive enough, good enough, special enough, you would be chosen, kept, loved. And so, little by little, you began trading pieces of your soul just to gain the world's approval. I know how exhausting that is. I know you fear being left behind, forgotten, unseen if you don't stand out. But my beloved, true love is not born of performance. True love comes from me, the one who loves you even when you have done nothing to earn it. I did not create you to live as a slave to others' opinions. I created you to walk in the freedom of love, but you've let the judgments of others shape your identity. You no longer live as who you truly are, but as a version you think they'll accept. You've suffocated your soul just to fit the mold of the world. You've silenced your true voice, just to blend in with a crowd that doesn't even know you. But my child, in that moment, you're no longer living. You're merely surviving to impress. I do not blame you, for I know you're simply looking for a sense of belonging. But I want you to know this: no gaze is deep enough to know you like I do. No compliment is powerful enough to heal your wounds like my word. You do not need to prove yourself. I have already declared your worth through the cross. You don't need to stand out to be seen. You've always been in my sight. I see you in the quiet tears. I see you when you force a smile through your breaking heart. And I say, you are enough because you are mine. Let go of that slavery, my beloved. Stop striving to please everyone and start living like someone who is deeply loved. This world will never give you lasting validation, but I will. I have chosen you. I have seen you completely, without polish, and I still love you. My love doesn't come and go. It doesn't depend on achievements or appearances. It is here, unchanging, waiting for you to stop running and receive it. My beloved child, I know you are weary from living a life constantly trying to prove something, to prove that you are enough. Enough to be chosen, enough to be loved, enough to be kept. I see you straining to measure up to standards even the world itself cannot define. But the more you run, the more your soul tires, for you are trying to build a solid house upon shifting sand. And you never feel like it's enough, not because you are lacking, but because you're measuring yourself with the wrong ruler. You believe that if you were just a bit more perfect, more capable, more beautiful, more outstanding, then you would find peace. But my dear child, peace does not come from achievement. It comes from knowing you are loved before you ever did anything at all. I do not demand that you impress me. I only long for you to believe that your worth doesn't come from what you can do, but from whom you belong to me. And once you place your whole heart in my hands, you no longer need to prove anything, because I have already declared your value. I also know that you are living in a world where everyone is striving to outdo one another, where you are constantly drowning in the images, voices, and accomplishments of others. And instead of living under the anointing I have placed on you, you live under the weight of comparison. You look at others and quietly condemn yourself. You see their brilliance and forget that I have carved out for you a unique path, a distinct calling, and a personal imprint. No one else can fulfill the role I created specifically for you, except you. Comparison is an invisible shackle tightening around your soul every day. It makes you feel small, late, never enough. But I do not see you that way. I do not compare you to anyone. I look at you through the eyes of a Father who has named you, destined you, and anointed you for a life unlike any other. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you miss what I am doing within you, quietly, patiently, but surely. Let go of that burden, my beloved. Let me remind you, you don't need to become someone else to be loved. You only need to return to yourself, the person I fearfully and wonderfully made. You are not late, not broken, not behind. You are exactly where my grace is meeting you. And if you are willing to pause, I will carry you beyond every false expectation this world has laid on your shoulders. I will show you what it truly means to live, not in striving, but in anointing, my beloved child. I see you chasing after things you believe to be life, but they are quietly wilting your soul. You are feeding on things that do not nourish eloquent words, void of truth advice, not grounded in wisdom opinions that cause you to question your very self. You are drinking from wells that do not quench fleeting pleasures, shallow affirmations and relationships that quickly vanish. And still, though your hands are full, your heart feels empty. Though many listen to you, you feel unheard. Because your soul longs for true life, and only I am that source. You did not mean to lose your way, I know this. You are simply trying to survive in a world that grows harsher each day. But the issue is this: you have chosen things that look like life instead of coming to me, who is life. You seek the feeling of being filled from things that only hollow you out more. They might thrill you for a moment, but they leave an even deeper void. You are weary, depleted, and unsure why. But yes, you are running dry because you have stopped drinking from the true well. I once said, "Whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst again." But you have not returned to that well. Instead, you've allowed the world to teach you to feed your soul with scraps, My heart aches to see you trade eternal abundance for fleeting illusions. I am not angry at your weakness, but I grieve when you choose to live apart from the source. I do not blame you for your thirst, but I long for you to know I am the well that never runs dry. You are fading inside, even if on the outside you appear alive. The world applauds the perfect image you wear. But you know your heart is fractured. I see that. I see through the mask you've learned to wear each day. You think you must stay put together to be accepted, but you do not need to pretend with me. You do not need to be strong. I do not love you for your image. I love you for who you are, and I know where you're withering most. Return, my child. Do not keep running toward things that promise life but steal your soul. Do not drink bitterness and call it hope. Do not live for the applause of the world only to die in silence when night falls. I am inviting you back to the table where the bread is life and the wine is grace. You don't need to do anything to earn this invitation. You only need to stop and come home. I am here. I've always been waiting. And in me your soul will breathe again, my beloved child. Before the world gave you a name, I had already called you by mine, my child. I engraved you on the palm of my hand, destined you for a life marked by eternal purpose. But now you are letting the world's definitions cloud the first word I ever spoke over you. You've forgotten that you are heir to a kingdom and begun living like one who must fight for scraps of worth. You've forgotten you were made in my image and begun seeing yourself through the shallow lens of society. You are asking, who am I? But you're looking for the answer everywhere except in me. You let social media tell you what is valuable. You let others' expectations rewrite your identity. You've been swept up in becoming someone rather than living as one already born with purpose. You don't realize that every time you let the world label you, you tear away a piece of your true self, the one I placed deep within. And so you feel lost, not because you lack value, but because you forgot you were already worth the life I gave. You chase purpose in grand things, titles, fame, success. But even the good cannot replace the source. These things cannot give life, for they are not life. They only reflect the outside while I see within. I do not measure your life by what you produce, but by the person you are becoming in me. True purpose is not in what you do, it's in your connection with me. And from that connection, all things will flow in the right time, in the right way, in the right place. My child, when you live apart from me, even good things can lead you astray. When you seek life in work, in people, in status, you will always feel fragile. For those things can be taken from you. But your identity in me is untouchable. Even if you fail, you are still my child. Even if you are rejected, you still belong to me. Even if you wander far, I will still welcome you home and call you by the first name I ever gave my beloved. Return to me, my child. Let me remind you of who you are. You are not a product of culture, not a replica of anyone else, not a role you must perform to be accepted. You are mine chosen, called loved and sent. And when you begin to live again from that identity, you will no longer seek life in what is fleeting, for I am life, and I am yours. My beloved, pause for a moment. Amid the roaring noise of a world that rushes past like a flood, I invite you into stillness, to hear the whisper of a love that is not loud but steadfast and everlasting. A love that does not come from social media or applause or human approval. A love that comes from me, the one who breathed life into dust to form you. I am the one who created the most radiant stars, the one who awakens the skies each morning, and I am also the one who calls your name day after day, night after night, with unwavering patience. You belong to me, not as the world possesses, but as a child belongs in a parent's embrace. I see not only who you are now, but who you were created to become. I see you when no one else does. I hear even the stifled sobs you hold in your chest, and I count every tear as a precious gem. You are not forgotten, you are not dismissed, you are not passed over. Even if you feel invisible to others, you are vividly alive in my heart. I know there have been moments you believed you were a mistake, that your very existence was a burden. But no, my child, I have never created anything accidentally. Everything I form has purpose, and you are one of my most intentional creations. I wove every part of you in secret. No detail is extra, no trait is random. What you call flaws, I call unique. The cracks you hide, I use as vessels for grace. I have never erred in placing you in this world, and I am not confused by what you're going through. There were times you thought, if anyone really loved me, they would have stayed. And so you attached your worth to the presence or absence of others. But do you know I have never walked away from you, not once. I was there on the nights you curled up in pain. I was there when you smiled with a broken heart. I don't just know what happened in your life, I walked with you through it all. I didn't just see the storm, I was in the boat with you. And when you thought I was silent, I was holding you with the gentlest presence. I know there are days you hold your phone hoping for a message, some word, some sign to remind you you're not forgotten. You look for someone's eyes to rest on you. But in that moment, no, my eyes have never left you. I think of you not once, but endlessly. When the world is too busy to notice, I sit beside you waiting for you to look my way, not to judge, but to give you what your heart longs for most, a love that is unconditional, unchanging, and unfailing. You've always longed to be chosen completely, certainly, but I chose you before you knew how to choose me. I loved you before you learned to love yourself. And I didn't choose you out of fleeting emotion, but with an eternal decision. Not with empty promises, but with bloody action. I stretched out my arms on the cross, not because I was forced, but because I longed to be near you. No one compelled me to sacrifice, I chose it. For you, for your freedom, for your life. The things that shame you, I bore them. The sins that silence you, I carried them. The wounds that make you feel broken, I placed my hands upon them and called them the place where miracles will begin. Nothing in you is beyond the reach of my grace. No wound lies outside my healing touch. You do not have to fix yourself before coming to me. I do not love you because you're perfect. I love you because you are. Mine and I have never given up on you. I know this world taught you that you must perform, shine, and measure up to be accepted. But I am different. I do not call you based on performance. I call you based on identity. You are not a prototype in testing. You are a masterpiece in my hands, fearfully and wonderfully made. I wrote your story before time began. And that story does not end in failure. It does not close with abandonment. You don't need to live to impress anyone. You only need to live in truth. And in that truth I meet you. I heal you. I restore you. When you are tired of always trying to be enough, I pull you close and say, just be who you are, I love you still. When you feel like a shadow passing through the crowd, I lift your chin and say, you are one of a kind in my eyes. When you want to erase yourself from the pages of grace, I turn each one back and show you you were never left out of my plan of love. And now I stand before the door of your heart. I do not break it down. I knock gently, patiently, tenderly. Because I honor your will, but I long for one word, yes. Not to control, but to truly love. To pour into you a love that does not suffocate, does not dominate, but revives. A love strong enough to lift you from the depths, but tender enough to bind every fracture in your soul. My beloved child, if today you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Don't wait until you are utterly worn out to return to the source of life. I am here not to interrogate, but to heal, not to condemn, but to comfort, not to say you've gone too far, but to whisper, there is still time. No matter how many turns you've taken, I know the way back. Even if you've lost yourself, I have never forgotten who you are. Your identity is safely held in my heart. You are not the sum of your past mistakes. You are not defined by the moments others failed to choose you. Who you are in me, that is the truth. And that truth will set you free. Today, I do not call you to start a religion. I invite you into a relationship close, honest, and alive. No intermediaries, no pretenses. Just you and me. Just one response. Here I am. And when you dare to say yes, right in the middle of the pain, in the midst of weakness, I will do what nothing else in this world can. I will bring your soul back to life. My beloved, as you quietly walk through the shadows of life, when all the noise fades and only the weight of your own breath remains, I am still there, not distant, not silent, not forgetful. You may not feel me, but I have never left your side for even a single moment. My presence does not depend on your feelings. My love is not tied to your performance. I do not love you because you are lovable. I love you because I am love itself. There are moments when you sit in silence, clinging to old memories as if they were ashes in your hands. You replay sharp words spoken by others as though they were truth. You wonder what you lacked, where you went wrong, why you were never enough. But child, you were never created to carry these burdens. You were not made to prove yourself to the world. You were made to be loved by me, and to respond to that love by living in freedom and truth. I have seen you in the darkness, not just with all-seeing eyes, but with a heart that understands. I've witnessed your weary striving for someone's approval. I've watched you wrestle with choices, trading away what is precious just to be seen as worthy. But I have never asked you to impress me. I never required you to strain in order to be kept. I have held you from the moment no one else even knew you existed. I engraved your name into the palm of my hand, and no power can erase it. You once thought I loved you most when you were fine, when you prayed regularly, when you walked in holiness. But you didn't know that my love is most fully present even when you're lost. Not because I condone sin, but because I never turn away from it. My love is not afraid of blood and tears of dirt and shame. I entered into the deepest darkness, even into the very place of your hidden shame, and still I said, "You are mine." I didn't just die for you. I rose again truly and powerfully, so that you would have hope that what seems dead in you can live again. Dreams you thought had dissolved faith, you believed had run dry longings, you buried deep, I can resurrect them all. Resurrection is not just an event. It is an invitation to step out from the tomb of sorrow, failure, and fear, and into a new life, the life I purchased at the highest price to give you. I know you've placed your hope in many things. You've anchored your heart to people, careers, fragile securities, and when they collapsed you felt as though you lost everything. But child, it is in your emptiness that I can become your fullness. No one can breathe life into you except me, the one who authored life. I don't give you what is fleeting. I give you abundant life, the kind that circumstances, time, or people can never take away. When you are disappointed in yourself, I am not. When you give up on you, I hold on. When you have no words to pray, I listen to the groanings of your soul. When you doubt me, I don't turn away. I do not love you with the fading emotions of humanity. I love you with an eternal covenant signed in blood on the cross, and that love is new every morning, faithful every night. My beloved, the world teaches you how to maintain an image. I invite you into truth. The world teaches you to brace yourself just to survive. I call you to rest in my arms and live. You don't need a mask when you come close to me. I do not love the facade. I love your soul, fragile, tender, and real. I love you when you are brave. I love you when you are afraid. I love you when you stand tall, and I love you when you fall. I see every path you've taken, even the ones I never called you to walk. And no matter how far you've gone, if you turn around, I'll still be right there. Not with anger, not with punishment, but with open arms. I don't keep a ledger of your wrongs. I keep the dreams you buried out of fear. I don't echo the voices of criticism. I whisper restoration. Others may have tried to define you, but if you listen to me, you'll hear a different voice, one that calls you chosen, beloved enough. The world will keep demanding. It will keep changing the standard, raising the bar, exhausting you. But I do not change. My word stands. My promise remains. The purpose I gave you is not canceled just because you've been slow to walk it out or lost your way for a time. If I began a good work in you, I will complete it. So my beloved, don't delay any longer. Don't wait until you feel better to return. Don't wait until you're holy enough, strong enough, worthy enough. You'll never be enough by the world's measure. But in me, you've always been enough to be loved enough, to be called enough, to be sent enough to rise. I stand at the door of your heart and knock gently. I do not force. I do not invade. But I long for your yes. Because your yes can change the journey. It can reopen what was shut. It can begin an entirely new story. A story where I am the author and you are the cherished main character. Let go of what is slowly killing your soul. Let go of false definitions, weary expectations, unhealed wounds. Let me lift the burden you no longer have the strength to carry. Let me call you by the first name I gave you before anyone else had a chance to label you. You are mine. You belong to me. And nothing, no past, no sin, no shame can steal you from my hand. I have loved you. I love you now, and I will love you forever. My beloved, I do not merely see you, I understand you. Not a single thought in your mind escapes my loving gaze. Not a single whisper in the dark is unheard by me. It rings out like a bell at noon. You have tried to be strong for too long. You've swallowed your tears held in things you believed no one could possibly comprehend. But I do, and I have never turned away. There are nights when you turn your face to the wall, embracing yourself in silence. You don't want to trouble anyone. You don't want to appear weak. You bite your lip while your heart wants to scream. But it is in that very silence that I bend my ear to listen to the cries of your soul. You don't need to shout for my attention. You only need to be yourself, tired, confused, wounded, disappointed, or hollow, and I will see you. And I will still call you precious. You don't have to come find me in perfection. I came to find you in brokenness. You don't need to clean yourself up before stepping into my presence. Because I am the one who cleanses, the one who restores, the one who heals and binds up. The scars you try to hide, I don't just see them. I touch them with a love that does not judge. With me, you don't need to pretend. You don't need to perform. You can exhale deeply and know you are safe. You think you've gone too far, that you've made too many mistakes, ruined too many things, that there are doors which cannot be opened again, wrongs that cannot be righted, roads that cannot be turned back from. But I, the one who entered the tomb and walked out of it, am not limited by impossible. There is no wound too deep for my healing, no sin greater than my love for you. No matter how many times you fall, I am ready to lift you up, not to remind you of your failures, but to remind you that you are not defined by your past. I am not surprised by what you've been through. The wrong turns, the regrets, the moments you lost control, I know them all. But child, none of it made me love you less. In fact, it was because of those very things that I came to this world, clothed in human flesh, to walk among the weak and to shed my blood for them, for you. That sacrifice was not symbolic. It was the act of buying you back with my very life, not because you were worthy, but because I love you. You've often thought that relationship with me must be built on solemnity, on rituals, on polished prayers. But I'm not seeking a ceremony. I don't need a performance. I'm seeking your heart simple, sincere, and willing to open. I want to walk with you not just on Sundays at church, but every Monday morning when you wake up tired, every Friday night when you sit in a quiet room, every hidden moment when no one knows the battle raging inside you. I don't want to be present only in your finest hours. I want to be there in the parts you've hidden away, the rooms you haven't dared to invite anyone into, because I am not repulsed by the mess. I do not distance myself from the wounds. I step into them gently, persistently, like light through a crack, like water reaching the driest soil. I have not come to condemn, but to heal. Not to push you away, but to draw you close. To me, you are not a number, not a project, not a broken case file that must be fixed before being accepted. You are a living story, unique, sacred, filled with value beyond measure. You are a poem I am writing each day with the ink of mercy and the paper of grace. And no chapter in your story is meaningless, not even the dark ones, not the tear-stained lines, not the unresolved pages. I am knocking on the door of your heart, not loudly, not forcefully, but patiently and tenderly. I knock not because I cannot enter, but because I honor you. True love does not impose, and I wait for your, yes, not a perfect answer, but an honest one. When you open your heart, I will come in not just to stand beside you, but to dwell within you. Not just to walk the road with you, but to become your home. You once thought of me as distant, lofty, severe. But I did not come to establish a religion. I came to offer a relationship, a love that doesn't withdraw, a bond without conditions, a presence that never abandons. I don't want to be a part of your life. I want to be the very center. Not because I am selfish, but because I know that anything else at your center will leave you restless and lost. I want to be your first love, not in a romantic sense, but the first one you turn to when you are tired, the first one you talk to when joy bubbles up, the first voice you listen for when confusion clouds your mind. I want to be your refuge when storms arise, the arms that hold you when you can't stand the breath of calm when anxiety suffocates. I am your shelter, steadfast, unshaken, unfailing. You don't need to be perfect. I have never asked that of you. I only ask for a heart willing to open. Stop running. Stop pretending to be strong. Stop chasing life in things that leave you dry. Let me be your home. Let me be your safe harbor after every storm. And when you do, you won't have to face it all alone. You will know that even as the world changes, I remain the one who never changes. You belong to me, and that is not just a truth. It is a promise signed in blood on the cross. A promise I will never take back, no matter how many times you are weak, unsure, or fall short, because my love is not based on your goodness. It is rooted in my unchanging faithfulness. And today I am still here, not with a hand raised to accuse, but with arms open to embrace. Not to remind you of where you failed, but to remind you, you are still mine, and I am still yours. My beloved, you are not invisible in this vast universe, even when you feel like a speck of dust drifting through space. You belong to me, the one who held your hand before you even knew how to hold anything, who called you forth with his breath, who breathed life into every cell of your being, and who engraved your name into the palm of his hand. I created the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the forests, but you are my most cherished masterpiece. You are not an accident of fate nor a misstep in the flow of time. You are my sacred intent, crafted deliberately, carefully, and joyfully. I have always been there in your sunny days and your storms. When you laugh, I laugh with you. When you fall silent, I sit quietly beside you. When you weep in a room no one else sees, I bend low to catch every tear. You have never been alone, even when you felt lonely. I have never turned away, even when you turned your back on me. And even when you feel unworthy, not good enough, not lovable, I still look upon you with eyes that have never changed, full of mercy, full of relentless love. I know you've searched long and hard for a voice to affirm your worth. A message, a compliment, a timely embrace, a sincere look in a crowd. But I want you to know I am still looking at you. I see the parts of you you've never shown. I know the things you've never told anyone. I see you smiling in public while breaking in private. I know the nights you wrestle, not because of physical hunger, but because of a deep emptiness that no earthly thing can fill. My child, you long for someone to choose you. But beloved, I chose you before anyone ever had the chance to reject you. And I did not merely say it, I proved it with the most powerful love a soul could ever receive, a love marked by the nails. I did not stay safe in heaven while you were lost on earth. I came down, clothed myself in fragile flesh, endured torment, and died in your place, not to make you feel indebted, but to show you just how precious you are to me. I did not bear your sin because I was forced to, I did it because I love. And when you no longer have the strength to stand among the wreckage, I am the place you can lean on. I will not ask you to be strong before coming to me. I will be your strength right in the middle of your weakness. When your mind is clouded by anxiety, I am the peace that seeps into every thought. When you are lost in painful decisions, I am the gentle but powerful voice whispering, "This is the way, walk in it." When you no longer know who you are, I am the one who reminds you of your identity, piece by piece, that you are loved, called, and destined for more than what you are enduring. I will be the father when your earthly father cannot be present. Not a father of rules and distance, but one who kneels to wipe your tears and carries you through rough roads. I will be the friend who never leaves, even when you are unpredictable, cold, or hard to understand. I will not slam the door like others when you mess up. On the contrary, I will open. My arms come to you and cover you with grace, not to condemn, but to heal. When you are broken, I will not patch you up with fragments of faith. I will give you a new heart. When you fall, I won't just help you up. I will carry you when you can't take another step. I am your shelter when life's storms rage. I am the light when darkness overtakes your mind. I am the anchor that keeps your soul from drifting away from hope. I am the protection in the spiritual battle you fight daily. I am the breath of restoration when you are so drained that you don't even know how to pray. I am the song when the world is too loud, then suddenly goes frighteningly silent. I am the unforced joy when your tears fall, for I don't just wipe them away. I use those very tears to water the places in your life you thought were long dead. And when the enemy lurks after your soul, I am the invisible shield that blocks every arrow. I do not promise that you will never face hardship, but I promise you will never walk through it alone. Don't wait until you're okay to come back. Come to me right in the midst of your breaking. Don't wait until you're worthy to pray, because I've already called you worthy through the sacrifice of my only Son. Don't wait another day, because it is not tomorrow but today that I am waiting for you. I am still here, unchanging, unmoved. Lay down everything you've been carrying, all the worries, burdens, sorrows, failures, shame, and even the things you don't have words for. Lay them down and step into my arms. Here you don't have to understand everything. You only need to know one thing: you are loved, not loved because you do everything right, but loved because you are simply you. And that love is big enough to reroute your entire life. I don't need you to try to be worthy. I need you to believe that you've already been chosen, and nothing from your past can change my decision. No matter who walked away, no matter what broke, no matter how many times you thought you had nothing left to offer, I still want you. Not the you of tomorrow, but the you of today, with all your mess, your doubts, and your unfinished longings. Come to me. No rituals needed, no elaborate prayers. Just a sigh is enough for me to hear. Just one moment of turning your heart toward me, and I will run to you. I am not the one waiting to punish. I am the Father waiting to embrace you, to say you are still mine. And I have never and will never give up on you, my child. My eyes have never left you. Since you were formed from the dust of creation, I have engraved your name into the depth of my palm, where every crack of eternal love tells the story of you. There is not a breath you take that I do not know. Not a single step you walk that I do not walk with you. Even when you feel I am far, I am close enough to hear even your whisper. I have never forgotten you, not for one moment. My love does not grow weary. It does not shift with time, with behavior, or with the way you view yourself. My love is the only firm foundation in this ever-changing world. I know there are things you've longed for that still have not come. Dreams you've carried like part of your very being that still haven't taken shape. You've prayed, you've waited, and then you began to doubt. Am I being ignored? Did I do something wrong? But beloved, delay does not mean I've forgotten. Silence does not mean I am not working. I am the Father of wisdom, and I am never late. Everything I do bears the mark of completeness, even when you can't yet see it in the middle of the journey. Sometimes I delay not to disappoint you, but to protect you from what you are not yet ready to carry. I don't want to give you something good if it will cause you to forget that I am what's best. I am preparing the ground so your seeds can take deep root. I am shaping your soul, refining endurance, forging faith. Because what I will give you will not be scraps, it will be abundance. And that abundance requires a soul nourished by faithfulness, not rushed impatience. I've seen your anxious heart knocking on doors I've already closed. But child, a door I shut is not a punishment, it is protection. Don't force your way into places that I, the all-knowing one, have locked. They may shine from the outside, but inside lie things your heart cannot bear. Trust me enough to stop. Trust that I am the author of your story, and I am still writing it. Not interrupted, not abandoned. You were not born to merely survive, just waiting for days to pass. I did not create you for survival. I created you for fullness of life, to thrive in my presence. You were not made to blend into temporary standards, but to reflect part of eternal glory. Your identity does not lie in status or title. It lies in the image you bear, the image of the Creator. But the enemy does not want that to happen. He doesn't need to destroy you just to make you doubt. He doesn't need to strip everything from you just to confuse you. A panicked mind is easily manipulated. But I have called you to live with a sound mind and a calm heart. I want you rooted in my word, not clinging to human praise. I want you to stand firm in the identity I declared, not swayed by others' opinions. The dreams inside you, I placed them there. They are not illusions meant to taunt you. They are not traps to lead you in endless pursuit. They are seeds I planted in your heart, and I am watering them daily in my way, in my timing. And when you learn to delight in me, when you find joy not in what you achieve, but in me alone, then everything you need will flow. Not because you are good enough, but because my love is more than enough. My child, I want you to let go of comparison. Don't look at your life through someone else's lens. They are not your standard I am. Every journey has its own rhythm. Every soul is anointed for a different purpose. When you envy someone else's harvest, you miss the time meant for tending the seeds I placed in you. When you define yourself by another's success, you deny the unique identity I carved into your soul. I have declared that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, not a copy but an original. You are not forgotten, not rejected, not erased. You are chosen, redeemed, anointed, and loved with an unchanging love. You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are defined by the one who died for you. No one has the power to undo what I have spoken. No mistake is big enough to turn me away. You don't have to pray with eloquent words. I don't require perfect formality. Talk to me in silence. Cry to me even if the words won't come. I read what your eyes cannot express. I understand the spaces between your broken prayers. The groans of your soul, I hear them, and I never forget, never, ever. I know you feel like no one truly understands you, but I do. I know every unspoken dream. I see every hidden pain. I accept you where others turn away. I open my arms when all others withdraw. And with me, you don't have to try to be kept. You just have to come as you are. I've been waiting. All you have to do is open the door. My beloved child, stop and listen, not with your ears, but with the heart that's grown weary from running in all the wrong directions. I don't speak to condemn you. I don't raise my voice to threaten or frighten you. I'm speaking to you as a father speaks to a lost child who's been away from home for far too long. These are not words of judgment. They are a calling, a whisper of grace, a chance to break free from the invisible trap you didn't realize you were caught in. You've lived too long in distraction. You've let the world shape your mind and mold your soul. The voices out there keep whispering, be faster, be prettier, be better. Do something to be worthy. And you believed them. I know. You didn't mean to drift from me. You were just so busy striving to be accepted that you stopped hearing my gentle call. How many things have you chased? How many times have you thought, this time, if I get this, I'll finally feel enough? But in the end, everything turned to dust in your hands. What once seemed like great achievements couldn't heal the deep emptiness. You chased the shadows of fame, money, relationships, charm, validation, and where did they take you? Right back to yourself, exhausted, lost, and at times unsure you even deserved love anymore. But I never stopped loving you. You may have forgotten me, but I never turned away. I saw you every time you sat alone with a heavy heart. I was there in every night. You cried silently. I did not withdraw when you failed. I did not stay silent when you were weak. I've always been at the edge of your despair, ready to catch you when you could no longer stand. The world has painted too many glittering dreams. It convinced you that if you reached them, you would finally be at peace. But you didn't realize that by building altars in your heart to fragile hopes, you were dismantling your soul. You bowed before created things and forgot the Creator. Those things are not evil, but they are not me. They were made to reflect my glory, not replace me. And when you confuse the two, the price is always emptiness. You fed yourself with what does not nourish: shallow praise, fleeting thrills, momentary pleasure, all of it sweet at first, then bitter in the depth of your soul. You drank from what looked like living water, but it left your soul thirstier each time. Do you see it? The more you search in those things, the more lost you feel. You've run from pain, I understand, but the things you've used to cover your wounds only made them spread. The pleasures, the patchwork relationships, the hidden habits, they only numb for a moment. They do not heal. They were never designed to. I am the healer. I do not come to place a bandage over soul-deep wounds. I come to heal at the root. But I cannot do that if you keep running from me. You live in a world that applauds the flashy and praises the fake. It tells you, be strong, but never teaches you how to be healed. It urges you to achieve more, but leaves you depleted with comparison and pressure. It cheers when you succeed in what it values, then turns its back when you break. I am not like that. I do not change. I do not love you in success and withdraw in failure. I love you even when you have nothing left to prove. You may have built altars in your heart, places where you've placed your hope in what you thought would save you. But every one of them, when they fall, teaches the same truth: nothing can stand unless it's built on me. Those altars cannot give life. They only make you forget your soul is dying until you're left alone to face it once again. My beloved child, it is time to stop running. Not because I am angry, but because it breaks my heart to see you trying to live in a body that moves while your soul runs dry. I did not create you merely to exist. I created you to live, truly live. And that kind of life only flows from me. Don't let this truth pass through your heart like a fleeting breeze. Let it take root. Let it shatter the lies you've believed for so many years. You don't have to save yourself anymore. You don't have to strive to live a life that pleases others. You have been chosen not because you are perfect, but because I am perfect in love. You have been called not to chase after the world, but to walk with me. You have been redeemed not with silver or gold, but with my blood. And I am still calling you, not through thunder, not through pressure, but through a quiet, steady whisper. Come home, my child. Let go of the things that will never satisfy you. Let me be all you need. You haven't gone too far to return. You haven't fallen too deep for me to reach. You're not too broken to be restored. I am the living one. I am the loving one. I am the one who waits. And I'm standing at the door of your heart, waiting for just a nod, a simple yes, and all of heaven will move to embrace you. Can you see it, my beloved? It's not because you're weak that you feel tired. It's not because you're worthless that you feel empty. It's because you're seeking life in things that cannot give it. You've placed your hope in seeds that bear no fruit, built your nest on shifting sand, entrusted your heart to things that know nothing of true love. You still think that if you just try harder, achieve more, reach that milestone, win that person, your heart will finally be at peace. But again and again, you're only trading one kind of emptiness for another. Peace doesn't stay. Joy sparks and disappears like fireworks, and you begin again, exhausted but unable to stop. I see you. I don't look at you the way the world does, by achievements, appearances, or numbers. I look at you through the eyes of the one who placed eternity in your heart, and I know that you will never be satisfied with the temporary. No trophy can fill that deep longing. No applause loud enough to silence your soul's fear of loneliness. No shoulder strong enough to bear the full weight of your heart except mine. You think you're searching for love, success, recognition, a place to belong. But what you're truly yearning for is me. Your soul remembers home, and home is where I'm waiting. For so long I haven't been your priority. You've chosen other paths, believing they'd be quicker, easier, more glorious. But now you see, even if you reach every summit without me, everything remains fragile. The greater the goal, the deeper the emptiness. Have you ever wondered why what you once dreamed of fails to satisfy when you finally have it? Why what seemed like the final answer only leads to more questions? It's not because you're wrong. It's not because the dream is bad. It's because you're building on a foundation that cannot hold. You're rooting yourself in soil that cannot keep your soul. And the more you cling, the more you wither. I do not withhold good from you, but I will not let what is good enough steal what is best. I know that if you hold on to what was never meant for you, it will not nourish, it will starve your soul. I know how it feels when you finally grasp what you longed for only to realize it doesn't make you happy, and I have wept with you even when you couldn't see me. You were not made to drift in shallow waters where your heart can only touch the surface. I placed within you a sacred depth that only eternity can fill. That's why everything temporary, no matter how beautiful, leaves you restless. I didn't make you to wander. I made you to walk with me deeper, steadier, truer. The world will keep calling. It will lure you with dazzling lights, wealth, beauty, status, relationships, promises of fame and admiration. But all these things without me, are illusions. Like a mirage in the desert, cool from afar but up close, only burning sand. You drink yet remain thirsty. You eat but your soul is still hungry. You smile but at night return to familiar loneliness. The more masks you wear to fit the image the world expects, the further you drift from the true image I placed inside you. You weren't made to be a copy. You are an original design, unique, unrepeatable. I breathed my own life into you. Don't trade that identity for a few likes, a few compliments, a few fleeting moments of recognition. I've prepared a table for you, not just abundant, but eternal. At that table, you don't need to fight for a seat. You don't need to stand out to be invited. You don't need to hide to be accepted. That table is set for you in the name of my child. But here you are feeding on the crumbs of the world, living on the temporary when I've prepared for you the everlasting. My beloved child, don't build your life on things that can be swept away. Fame, fortune, beauty, health, relationships, they can all shift in a day. But I do not change. My word stands firm. My love remains steadfast. My purpose for you is not undone by your failures. My grace is not limited by time. And your connection with me is the safest place to build your life. If you've seen enough weariness, enough wandering, enough emptiness, then come back. Not to be judged, but to be restored. Not to be interrogated, but to be embraced. Not to pick up burdens again, but to lay down the ones you were never meant to carry. I am here, unchanging, unwithdrawing, unfailing. You don't need to do something grand to begin again. Just come back. Just say I'm tired, and I will come. Not as a king demanding obedience, but as a father opening his arms. You've gone many places. Now let me be where you stop. Let me be where you belong. My beloved child, I don't only see you in your shining moments. I hear you in the darkest hours when everything feels like it's collapsing beneath your feet. There are nights you toss and turn in the dark, not from physical pain, but from a deep, nameless ache. You don't know why your heart feels so heavy. You can't explain why the tears keep falling when no one has done anything to hurt you. But I know exactly why. Because you are living farther from the voice that once called to your soul even before you saw the light of this world. You've placed your hope in things that never promised to guard your soul. You've looked for warmth in arms too limited to hold your infinite heart. You haven't realized that when you run far from me, even the most beautiful things lose their color and meaning. Not because you're unworthy of keeping them, but because you're trying to hold them without me as your foundation. I know you've thought that life with me must be a life stripped of joy that I came to restrict, to forbid, to take away what you love. But my child, the truth is the opposite. I didn't come to reduce your life, but to give you fullness, the kind of life no pleasure can replace, no success can imitate, no relationship can complete. I am the river that flows endlessly through the desert. I am the light that never goes out in spiritual night. I do not take away what is good from you. I only ask you to release what is silently destroying you while wearing the glittering mask of happiness. I see you draining your youth to impress the world. You paint over your true self, trying to be enough, lovable enough, strong enough, but the harder you try, the more worn you become. You're tired from holding up an image that doesn't belong to you. You're afraid that if you stop, let go, stop striving, no one will care. But I, the one who formed every cell of your body, speak to you today. You don't need to earn my love. My love has no conditions. It is not based on talent, appearance, or achievement. My love is eternal just as I am eternal. Oh, the things you chase, status, recognition, admiration, they are all temporary. They may come and go in the blink of an eye. But there is one thing that never leaves you, me. I am with you amid loud applause and also in the silent rooms where only your heart echoes. You don't need to perform to be accepted. You were chosen not because you were worthy, but because I placed eternal value on you before you ever knew your own name. Don't waste another day chasing things that don't know how to love you. Don't keep building dreams on sand only to be crushed when they collapse. Remember, every crack in your heart is a place I want to fill with my love. I don't condemn you for losing your way, but it grieves me when you believe you can't return. You can, and I am here, always here, waiting for you, like a father waits for his wandering child. Surrender is not loss, my child. surrender is discovery. When you surrender to me, you don't lose freedom. You enter true freedom. Freedom from comparison, freedom from judgment, freedom from burdens you were never meant to carry. You've believed you had to handle everything on your own, but you've forgotten there is a hand bigger, stronger, ready to carry you if you'll only let me hold yours. Perhaps you are standing at a crossroads, torn between what is easy and what is right. You hear voices from both sides. But only one path leads to true life, the path that has me. It may be narrower, less traveled, more demanding, but it is the only road where at the end you'll see my eyes, my smile, my arms wide open. I do not promise a smooth road, but I promise you will never walk it alone. I will be with you step by step, season by season, heartbeat by heartbeat. You are not a product of circumstances. You are not a copy of someone else. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are my masterpiece, the one into whom I breathed life, in whom I placed an immortal soul. And I have not given up on anything about you, even when you've given up on yourself. Don't keep judging yourself by earthly eyes. Look at yourself through mine, the eyes of a father who sees the goodness in you long before you learn to live it out. Oh child, the life you're truly searching for is not in achievements, not in visibility, not in applause. It's in relationship. A relationship with me, one that's unbroken, unconditional, and ever close. When you step into that relationship, everything else will fall into place. Love will be whole. Purpose will be clear. Identity will be secure. You won't have to ask, "Who am I?" because you'll know I am the child of the King. You may have gone far, but you've never been out of my sight. You may have fallen silent, but I still hear the voice of your heart clearly. You may feel unworthy, but I gave my life to call you worthy. So today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Let me come in. Let me wipe away your tears. Let me heal every wound. Let me tell you every single day that you belong to me. My child, let me bring you back to what truly matters. In a world full of noise and glitter, I invite you into a quiet place where I can whisper eternal things into your soul. Not the applause, not the trophies, not goals painted by ambition, but the goodness that never fades, the beauty so pure the world cannot understand, the truths that hold firm when everything else falls apart. I long to reshape your heart, not to chase after fleeting things, but to beat in rhythm with everlasting life. I will never force you to love me. Love cannot be demanded, and I never wished for that. But I will wait. Not once, not for a season, but always. I will wait, even when you forget, when you grow tired, when you turn away. And while I wait, I still call your name, not with a loud shout, but with a gentle whisper. Maybe you will fill your heart with other sounds. Maybe you'll search through countless voices, voices that promise belonging, promise to fill you, promise to heal you. But none of them truly know you. None of them are willing to do what I have done. I am the one who withheld nothing for you. I went to the ends, the end of pain, the end of loneliness, the end of death, to win you back from the grip of darkness. No one else will be nailed for your freedom. No one else will descend into the grave just to lift you up. No one else can love you so completely as to give it all. And I have no regrets, because you were worth saving. Even when you don't see your worth, I still call you precious. Even when you feel broken, I still call you chosen. Don't wait until your heart is shattered to return, but if that is where you are, if you're sitting among the ashes of dreams gone up in smoke, do not fear drawing near to me. Don't think you have to fix yourself before entering my presence. You don't come healed, you come to be healed. If you're carrying unanswered questions, bring them too. I never asked you to have all the answers. I only asked for your honest heart, even if it's messy, even if it's full of doubts. Do you still think you have to be worthy, that you have to be okay or good enough or the right fit? You never needed those things for me to accept you. Worthiness was never the condition for receiving my love. My love is not given according to achievement, it is given according to nature, and my nature is love. I love you, not for what you can do, but for who you are. I loved you when you were wandering. I loved you when you weren't looking my way. I loved you when you couldn't even love yourself. That is the truth, and that truth is enough to lift you from any pit. My grace is not like the gifts of this world. It has no fine print, no expiration date, no strings attached. My grace flows like a river endlessly, even through the driest lands. Even if your heart has closed, even if you've rejected me before, that grace is still looking for you. It comes not to demand, but to embrace, not to accuse, but to wipe your tears. And it still flows every day through every weariness, every restless night, every crack in your soul. My blood is enough. You don't need to add anything. You don't need to overextend yourself. You don't need to prove endlessly. On the cross, I cried out, "It is finished." That means you no longer have to live trying to save yourself. It means shame has no power. It means darkness no longer holds your feet. It means you can lift your head and step out of the invisible prison, because I already broke the door. All you need to do is step out and come to me. No script, no performance, just your real self. My love doesn't need to be earned, only received. So receive it, my child. Receive it like a child takes its mother's embrace, like a thirsty soul drinks from fresh waters, like a weary spirit finds life again. No more walls, no more striving, no more pretending. Only you and me, and a love big enough to begin everything again. And if today you hear my voice, do not turn away. Let me touch the place you fear the most. Let me step into the rooms of your heart that you've locked tight. Let me lift you once again, or maybe for the very first time. It is never too late, never too far, never too broken. If you are still breathing, then hope still lives. If your heart is still beating, then my love is still calling. My beloved child, do not let your eyes wander toward those who seem to have it all. I know you see them radiant, adored, possessing what you once wished for: status, acclaim, possessions, admiration. But you cannot see what lies behind those things. I can, I know, for I do not look at appearances, I see straight into their souls. Many of them are collapsing behind the shine. They smile on the stage but cry themselves dry when alone. They live in applause but are dying slowly in loneliness and emptiness. Oh, my child, don't let the glitter make you jealous. The world is skilled at dressing up emptiness to make it look full, but inside it remains hollow. Do not envy what has been painted with gloss, for those things cannot quench the thirst of the soul. I know this because I am the one who formed your soul. I know what it needs. And do you know, you already possess what so many desperate souls are seeking. You have me. I know sometimes you forget the worth of what you hold. When you look around and see yourself overlooked, unnamed, unpraised, you begin to believe you lack something. But do you know what makes a soul truly rich? Not followers, not bank numbers, not the praise of men. A rich soul is one that holds on to me. And that's what you have, even if you don't yet realize it. In me, you don't just have life, you have life in fullness. In me, you have joy untouched by anxiety. A joy not born of circumstances, but of presence. When you pursue me, you will receive more than you ever dreamed. Not an easy life, but a deep one, grounded, meaningful. You will discover this peace is not the absence of storms, but the awareness of who is with you in the midst of them. I never promised a life without hardship, but I did promise this: you will never walk alone. When you pass through fire, I will be with you. When you wade through rivers, the waters will not sweep you away. When the darkest night covers you, I will be the quiet light that never fades. And when you feel utterly lost, I will be the whisper guiding you home. I did not say every plan of yours will come to pass, but I promise you this: everything I plan for you is good beyond your understanding. Some dreams you must lay down, not because I don't love you, but because I am clearing the way for something better. Some doors must close, not as rejection, but as protection. Some desires will not be fulfilled because they would lead you away from me, and I love you too much to allow that. Remember this, my beloved: what I give you, the world cannot steal. No envy, no slander, no force of darkness can shake what I have ordained for you. What I build, no storm can destroy. Because the foundation I lay is not built on sand, but on the living word. And what I have begun in you, I will bring to completion, not by your strength, but by my grace. Not because of your perfection, but because of my unshakable love. My child, do not measure yourself by what you do not yet have. Look at what you already hold, and let your heart be grateful. No one else can live your portion of life. No one else can walk the path I've prepared for you. I have called you out of the crowd, placed upon you a unique calling, guided you on paths of your own. So why would you try to imitate another or envy what they too are struggling to hold? Do not let your heart be stolen by illusion. Do not let false lights lure you away from the true flame I have lit within you. Chase after me, not out of obligation, but out of love. Run after me, not for a reward, but because you have already received the greatest reward, me. My beloved child, it's time to stop running in circles through the wilderness of your soul. It's time to pause, not because you're giving up, but because you've finally chosen the right direction. The world promises much, but keeps nothing. It invites you with artificial light, then leaves you in the dark. So many times you've thought you were close to what you longed for, only to grasp at air like trying to hold smoke. But I am here waiting long for you, not to judge, but to receive, not to accuse, but to heal. Do not build dreams of sand anymore, my child. Do not build your life on fleeting feelings, shallow relationships, or ever-changing standards. They cannot carry your soul, and you were never meant to be your own foundation. Let me, the one who never changes, build your life with my everlasting love. Place your hand in mine, and I will lead you steady through every season, even the stormy ones. I am the vine, alive, strong, unshakable. You are the branch connected to bear fruit, to live not only for yourself, but for many. Apart from me, you will wither, not because I punish you, but because true life flows only from me. But if you remain in me, if you choose to cling with all your heart, you will see what once seemed impossible become entirely possible, not by your own power, but by my power at work in you. Let each of your days begin not with the sound of an alarm, but with the expectation of my voice. Let your heart learn stillness, not because there's nothing left to say, but because you've learned how to listen. I don't just want to give you answers. I want my presence to be what your heart desires most. For in me there is not just advice, but life, not just direction, but resurrection. I have not come merely to change your behavior. I have come to transform you from within, not by force, not by pressure, but gently, like water soaking into dry soil. Like light creeping through a darkened window, I will open the eyes of your heart to see what is true, what is false, what is fleeting, and what is eternal. I will teach you to live, not for the gaze of others, but before me, the one who knows fully and still chooses to love. You want to be loved, don't you? Let me love you, unconditionally, unchangingly, irrevocably. My love is not like the fleeting promises you've heard. It does not dim when you fail, does not fade when you fall, does not vanish when you grow weak. It is the love that passed through death to bring you into life. You long to be seen, and I see you. Not just your figure, but your heart. I see you when no one else notices. I see not to judge, but to understand. I see the efforts no one applauds. I see the tears soaked into your pillow. I see the loneliness you feel even among a crowd. And I am the one who stays when everyone else leaves. You want to be known not in the sense of fame, but in the depth of being understood, received, treasured. And I know you more than you know yourself. I know why you react the way you do. I know the fears behind your actions. I know the things you dare not tell a soul, and I still call you beautiful, chosen, worthy. You thirst for peace, not just quiet on the outside, but stillness in your soul. True peace does not come from everything going your way. It comes from knowing you are in my hands even when the world rages. I am that peace, not just the giver of peace, but peace itself. You are searching for purpose, and you will not find it on any scoreboard or title. Your purpose begins in me. When you realize you are not here by accident, but by design, not just to survive, but to walk with power and meaning. When you live in your true place in me, everything else will fall into rhythm. And then when you stop chasing fleeting applause and begin to pursue me, you will be filled. Not merely filled for yourself, but overflowing like a cup poured until it runs over. You will not just receive, you will become a source. When I live in you, My light will shine through your smallest acts, a kind word, a sincere hug, a look of compassion. People won't just see you, they will see me through you. And in that, you won't just live, you will live with impact. You will become shelter for others. You will become the answer to someone's prayer. You will walk into a room and the atmosphere will shift because you carry my presence. You will no longer speak out of habit, but with healing. No more empty words, but words that restore, that pull people back from the edge. You will walk not by the flesh, but by the leading of my spirit. You will learn to be strong without being hardened, humble without self-loathing, decisive without being cold. And then you will see you are not just loved, you have become love. Not a love that sways with feelings, but a love refined in intimacy with me. A love not shaken by others' reactions. A love that forgives. A love that endures. A love that gives even when it is not returned. Let me do this in you. Let me turn you from one who was once lost into a lamp that lights the way for others. From one who was once dry into a spring that refreshes many souls. From one once broken into a witness of restoration. I am still here. I wait not because I am powerless, but because true love is always patient. Choose me not just once, choose me each day. And then you will see everything you have ever longed for. Love, worth, life purpose is not found in what you can accomplish, but in whom you are connected to. My child, this is not an illusion meant for souls too holy to live among the ordinary. Nor is it some distant, vague dream meant only for the people in the Bible whom you believe you could never resemble. This is real. This is for you, yes you, in this very moment, in the place where you stand in the midst of all that you carry. Not when you become more perfect, not when you've untangled all the mess. But right now, while your heart is still confused, while you're still wondering, is there anything good left for me? I am still calling you. But this invitation does not force, because true love never coerces. It is a quiet whisper in the midst of all the noise. I know the voices of this world will continue to shout, seductive, promising, yet deceptive. They paint glamorous illusions, offering a life they cannot give. You've heard them often, haven't you? And you've seen the result: exhaustion, disappointment, a broken heart, even when your hands seem to be holding success. But my voice is different. It does not scream. It does not demand. It is a gentle voice flowing from a heart once pierced for you. A voice inviting you home, a place where you don't have to prove anything, where you don't need to wear a mask, where you don't fear being compared or rejected. Only there will you be truly yourself, for only in me will you truly know who you are. You must choose. I cannot choose for you. I can wait patiently, but I will not enter where the door is still closed. You must decide who you will walk with the world with its ever-shifting standards, or the one who never changes, the one who has already prepared for you a purpose greater than you've ever imagined. You can choose the light where I am, or continue under the flickering artificial lights of the world, lights that promise, but only strain your eyes. I am not saying that choosing me will be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. And there is no other choice on this earth that will bring your soul true rest like choosing to return to me. If today you choose me with your whole being, with trust, with a heart that thirsts for truth, then I will begin a work that no one else can do. I will not only wipe away your tears, I will not only soothe your wounds, I will gather all the shattered pieces of your life and weave them into a masterpiece, a life once broken, now radiant through the very cracks. A soul once dismissed as a failure, now reflecting my glory. I overlook nothing in you. I see every moment you felt abandoned, every time your heart broke from misplaced trust. I see the times you smiled at the world only to collapse behind a closed door. I see the betrayal. I see the lies that pierced deep, convincing you that you are not enough, that you deserve the pain. But I say, no, you are not forsaken. No, you are not forgotten. I know you are weary. I know there are days you just want to disappear, not because you don't want to live, but because you no longer know why you are living. But my child, I am still here. And I not only see what you've endured, I am using it to write something new. I am transforming sorrow into meaning. I am turning ruins into testimony. I am planting in you silent seeds that in their due season will blossom into fruit beyond your expectation. Do not despise small beginnings. I once began with a child in a manger. I once nurtured a tender shoot. The world rejected, yet he became the king of all kings. In the same way, what I am doing in you today may go unseen, may not be praised, but remain faithful, be steadfast. For my hand never begins what it will not complete, and do not be ashamed of where you once fell. I am not afraid to use your past to display my power. What you have hidden in shame I can use to pull others out of darkness. No detail of your life is wasted. No wound is meaningless. When you place every part of your life into my hands, both the beautiful and the broken, I will shape them into something that causes heaven and earth to stand in awe. My child, the world has taught you to hide what is ugly, flawed, damaged. But I say, bring even those things to me. For only in my hands will they lose their power to imprison you. I am not repulsed by your past. I do not reject what you are ashamed of. On the contrary, it is there that I will reveal my deepest mercy. Let me renew your life. Let me lift you out of paths that lead only to dead ends. Let me place your feet on a road that leads to life, not a fleeting life, but one of purpose, identity, joy, and unshakable peace. My beloved child, I understand that at times you feel like a small leaf drifting upon a vast river carried away by sudden floods. People come and go. Yesterday's smile may turn into tomorrow's tears. You may give your trust completely, only to be shattered by the fragility of the human heart. What you once thought would last forever proves to be no more than bubbles vanishing beneath the sun. That is why you so often feel lost, longing for a sure place to lean upon, yet unable to find it. But remember, my child, amid all that changes I remain, never disappearing, never turning away, never altering my heart. I am the anchor your soul has always sought. When storms rage through the world, when human hearts are as restless as the sea, I remain as a mountain unmoved, unshaken. On days when you are too weary to rise, I am the hand that lifts you quietly. On nights when you wrestle with tears unseen by anyone else, I am the one who gently wipes them away. You need not pretend to be strong before me, for I see into the deepest chambers of your heart, and I love you even in your frailty. Give me room within your heart, and do not seek safety in fragile things, for nothing in this world can hold your soul in lasting peace apart from me. Even if you walk through the valley of shadows, I remain the light that guides you. Even if storms surround you, I remain the sure refuge. Believe this, my love is not built on fleeting feelings, nor does it change with time. It surpasses every limit, rises above every failure, and endures forever. My dear one, there are moments you think I am far, but in truth I am closer than your own breath. When you tremble at life's crossroads, I am the whisper telling you, do not fear, I walk with you. When joy fills your heart, I am there to share it. When despair drains your hope, I do not abandon you. And when the world turns its back, I still hold my arms wide to gather you in. So, my child, do not let your heart cling to what is passing away. Anchor yourself in me, the one who does not change. My faithfulness is your fortress, my love your shelter, my mercy a stream that never runs dry. You may grow weary, but I never tire. You may be weak, but my strength never fails. You may lose your way, but my arms are always waiting to bring you home. Remember, this life may cause you to stumble, but each time you fall, I will help you stand again. The wounds you carry, I will transform into witnesses of my love and grace. Do not fear loss, for I am the treasure that cannot be taken. Do not fear loneliness, for I am the faithful friend who never departs. Do not doubt when you cannot see me, for true love does not always need to be visible. It remains, it surrounds, it guards you each day. Lift your eyes, my child, and see, though the heavens and earth may change, though mountains may be moved, my mercy toward you shall not vanish. That is a promise that cannot be broken. That is the truth into which your soul may anchor itself amidst the surging sea of life. And if you dare to place your trust in me, you will find that no matter how fierce the storm outside, peace may still dwell within. Therefore, do not let fear rule your heart. Let my love fill it. Do not let the betrayals of others harden you. Let my kindness heal and soften you. Do not let loss steal away your hope, for I am the wellspring of hope that never dies. I loved you before you knew me, and I will love you even if you forget me. This love needs no condition, no bargain, no proof. It is simple, profound, eternal. My precious one, you may grow weary of loving without being loved in return, but I will never grow weary of loving you. You may see yourself as small and unworthy, but in my eyes you are a treasure beyond price. You may feel lost, but with me you have never strayed. And if you will turn back, offering even the fragments of your heart, I will shape them into a masterpiece more beautiful than you have ever imagined. So let your heart find rest in my arms. Do not chase after fragile things. Walk forward in the assurance that I love you. I will not forsake you. I am ever by your side. Though time passes, though life changes, this truth will never change. In the stillness deeper than all fleeting promises of the world, there is a reality that cannot be shaken, the presence of the one who keeps his word, a refuge, stronger than every change. Do not think of this as a vague abstraction. Feel it as the warm breath of evening, the flame that will not die in the coldest night, the steady hand that lifts you when you stumble. From the first moments of creation to the days not yet seen, nothing in his nature has shifted, not time has dimmed his love, nor your actions unsettled his heart. When relationships around you tremble, when words of affection prove fragile in human strength, there remains a love not bound to wavering emotions, not carried away by life's storms, a love that stands even when tempests roar. Think of it as a lighthouse. Its beam does not depend on feelings to shine, nor on encouragement to endure it. Simply burns, guiding lost ships across the open sea. And this very love is where you may anchor, not by grasping tightly in fear, but by releasing anxiety, letting go of desperate efforts to hold on to fragile ties, letting go of the need to prove yourself worthy of love. Let your soul cease measuring affection by the standards of this world and recognize instead that there is a grace that reached toward you long before you ever grasped the word worthy. You may have spent days doubting yourself, nights wondering if anyone could truly remain steadfast for you. Do not let those voices overshadow the greater truth. There is a love that does not need your endless striving to qualify, nor your performance to be accepted. That acceptance is already here, not because you are flawless, but because the very nature of this love is acceptance. Which means that even when you stumble, even when you fail, even when you bear the scars of past mistakes, none of it diminishes your worth in his eyes. Perhaps you have been wounded by promises not kept by those who left when you needed them most. Such memories can corrode trust, driving you to build walls of protection. But those walls, though they may shield you from temporary pain, also keep you from experiencing love in its truest form, love that, though safe, must still be welcomed. Imagine a door opened, not by a key you forged in defense, but by a hand extended in invitation, a hand that does not dismiss your past, that does not turn your faults into conditions, but that follows you with compassion, ready to comfort. This is the unchanging presence, one that does not condemn, does not abandon, but always waits for your return. You may ask, how can I believe in what does not shift when everything around me changes? The answer lies not in arguments, but in lived experience, in those moments when you thought you were utterly alone, yet felt an unseen strength hold you up, when peace entered your heart, though chaos thundered all around. That was no illusion. It was the call of steadfast love, inviting you to trust. Trust does not mean the road will be smooth. No, but it means that in every storm you may still breathe and keep walking, for there is a power always walking beside you. That companionship does not weigh your value by achievement or perfection. It sees you with eyes beyond calculation, with a heart of patience, and with hands forever open. To live in this reality, you must learn to release your grip. You must shape an inner life, not reactive to every word, every glance, every abandonment, but rooted in the deep assurance that your being is carried within a perfect love. Each morning, instead of counting who remains at your side, begin with a quiet truth. Today, I am held. This is not denial of reality. Sorrow will still come, losses will still sting, but it reframes your life within a safer horizon, where pain is not answered with panic, but with the calm, knowing that you are not alone. And know this unchangeable love is not stern or distant. It is tender, soft, with mercy, releasing you from the weight of self-condemnation. You need not keep proving I am better, I am worthier of love, for this love does not increase with your victories nor diminish with your failures. It is a foundation without conditions, like light shining through a window even on a cloudy day. The light remains, requiring nothing in return. Once you grasp this, you will discover freedom to love without calculation, to forgive without demand, to live unbound by the fear of being abandoned. Especially in the silences of sorrow, when you cannot pretend to be strong, when you only need a place to weep, seek this comfort. Do not mistake resting in eternal love for weakness. On the contrary, it is the bravest act, the courage to set down your defenses and allow yourself to be seen as you are both in need and in abundance. For only when you allow yourself to be healed in this love do your wounds become a new ground where compassion and understanding take root. The fragments of your past, placed beneath the light of unchanging mercy, cease to be endless burdens and instead become living markers of survival evidence that you have endured and still you live. Let this assurance guide you in every ordinary choice, when insecurity rises at work, when you fear pain in love, when the indifference of others wears you down. In all these moments, remember that your foundation is not built on passing things. It is set on a love, steadfast, immovable, untouched by circumstance. From this foundation you will see others more gently, give more freely without fear of loss, endure temporary loneliness without breaking. And do not forget, this unfailing love is not only for your strong days, but especially for the times of weakness. When you feel emptied, when you doubt your worth, it is then that the caring hands and comforting words draw nearest. This is not a distant promise, but a present reality, eternal, constant. So let yourself receive this grace each day in quiet prayer, in moments of upward trust, in choosing to release a measure of worry to make room for peace. And as you grow within this inner steadiness, you will find something more. When you are held not by your own strength, but by a love that never lets go, you become a source of comfort to others. Out of your healing you may lift another from the shadows, speak the gentle word they have longed to hear, sing hope where fear has reigned. Therefore, do not keep this love to yourself. Let it flow through you, becoming a stream of healing for other hearts. At last, keep this truth in the deepest place within you. You are not abandoned. You are not cast aside. You are not left to the loneliness of the world. Though all else may shift, may fade, may be lost, there remains a pure current flowing still, not because you are perfect, but because its very nature is to sustain and to nourish. Let your soul rest in this certainty that each step of your journey may be lightened by the assurance every day you live, you are sheltered by a love that will not forsake. And when night falls, when fear creeps close again, remember the unchanging whisper that resounds, you are held, you are loved, you are carried today and for all the days to come. Stop building your life on sand, the sand of achievements, the sand of opinions, the sand of relationships without real roots. You may manage for a while, but when the storm comes, you will fall. Build on me, the rock that cannot be shaken. Even if the floods rise, even if the winds howl, your house will stand, because the foundation is me. Not your feelings, not people, not earthly promises. I am the only safe place for your heart. My beloved child, stop building the shelter of your life upon fragile foundations. Do not keep gathering hope upon grains of sand that slip away. Do not let your worth be measured by glittering titles, by dazzling scores, or by fleeting praise. Do not let your rhythm be dictated by the gossip of others, or by relationships that are shallow, not rooted deep in the ground. You may feel light for a time when living upon appearances, briefly supported, briefly comforted, but when storms break in, when trials knock, when losses arrive, uninvited, all that was shielded by reputation and smooth words will dissolve like mist beneath the morning sun. Instead, choose to build your life upon a foundation that is steady, solid as stone, unmoved by passing feelings, unshaken by trends or fragile promises. That foundation is me, not a distant idea, but a living presence waiting for your trust. Imagine constructing a house from cheap materials, walls hollow, with pride beams made from the praise of others, a roof patched together with shallow acceptance. At first it all seems fine, the house is admired, neighbors are impressed, you feel affirmed. But let one storm of misunderstanding strike, one rain of disappointment fall, one flood of unforeseen events rise, and the whole structure collapses. By contrast, when the foundation is dug into the rock, when every brick is truth, when the beams are unconditional, love, the house will not tilt. See this clearly, lasting safety does not come from hiding flaws nor from chasing perfection, but from placing your life in an unchanging love, a love that does not ask you to prove yourself before it embraces you, a love that does not withdraw when you are weak. You may be exhausted from daily performance, from proving yourself, from striving to keep your place in the eyes of others. You may feel lonely, even in crowds of applause, empty though surrounded by voices of praise. This is because you are building on what is fleeting. Applause cannot hold you through the night. Titles cannot listen when your heart is breaking. I invite you to lay down that burden. Step away from the endless race, withdraw from the constant evaluations, and return to a place of stillness where you are kept in an unfailing love. This is the very vacuum of peace, a place where you do not have to strive to be loved, for love is already given before all your effort. When you build upon the rock, life will not instantly become perfect. Storms will still come, pain will still appear, you will still face loss and fear. But here is the difference: such losses will no longer shatter you in despair, because you will know there is a foundation holding you fast. Tragedy may still wound you, but those wounds will not define your whole existence. Instead of surrendering to constant fear of being abandoned, you will learn to rise, to rebuild, to move forward. For there is a stream that never dries, a strength that does not falter. Think of the love you once sought at first, full of promise, eyes bright, with hope words echoing with devotion. Yet time tested it, and promises faded. People left, responsibilities were feared, interests shifted. Such experiences may incline you toward defense, toward building walls of fear so none can wound you again. But when you choose me as your foundation, you do not need to seal every door. Instead of fear guarding you, you are free to open wide your arms to give and to receive, for I am the place to which you always return. From that safety you can love without fear of losing yourself, you can give without fearing emptiness, for I do not count loss, I only keep and restore. Do not misunderstand. I do not call you to abandon every ambition, nor to forsake all dreams. I call you to lay them upon the rock, so that when one door closes, you do not lose yourself. Let ambition be guided by a secure soul, not by fear of rejection. When the foundation is me, every achievement becomes ripe fruit from a well-rooted tree. But if you plant on sand, flowers may bloom quickly, yet fall away when trouble comes. So build your dreams with awareness, work hard, long to contribute, but always measure your worth not by achievement, but by the dignity of being unchangingly loved. Furthermore, to build on the rock is to take responsibility, not to use others as shields, not to blame circumstances as excuses for not growing. When the ground is steady, you can face your mistakes, learn from failures, endure sorrow without being destroyed. From this you gain wisdom and courage, and standing firmly, you will become a support for those around you, lending strength, so they too may seek the solid ground. I want you to look deeply at your relationships. Some people enter your life only to teach you a lesson, not to remain forever. Some bring joy, but lack depth to be true foundations. Learn to discern between temporary companions and roots that endure. Yet do not let that knowledge turn into coldness or walls. Recognizing fragility will help you treasure the bonds that truly last, and will free you to love with openness, not calculation. When you love without condition, you reflect my foundation to others, and by that you help make the world around you less storm-tossed. Perhaps you fear that trusting in an unchanging foundation will make you passive, resigned to fate. The opposite is true. From steadiness comes boldness. You no longer avoid risks out of fear of losing all. You can set great goals, dare to love, dare to forgive, dare to trust again when others return. That courage does not deny pain but arises from knowing that even in failure a strength still holds you. It is the courage of one who knows they are never alone, of one who knows that losing one battle is not losing life itself. And when you build this way, I will build with you, not by doing everything for you, but by giving wisdom for your choices, by sustaining you in weakness, by nurturing your heart so it does not harden. I will be the unseen pillar upholding right decisions, the mercy that heals mistakes. This is a relationship not based on temporary gain, but rooted in who you are in your very being, not in what you possess. So, my child, stop laying your foundation upon fading sand. Dig deep, find the rock, place your trust in me. Build with truth, with virtue, with unconditional love. So when storms come, your shelter will not collapse, your heart will not break apart, your soul will still keep its rhythm of peace. Let your life become a home for yourself and those you love, a place to shield, to embrace, to heal, a place that stands through time. And when you choose this, even in your hardest days, you will hear my gentle whisper, I am here. Trust me, your house will stand. Do not let your eyes be enchanted by things that are fading away. Do not let your heart be lured by fleeting splendors and forget the imperishable flame smoldering deep within. For there are radiances that are nothing more than flashing lights, blinding for a moment and then vanishing, leaving only a cold emptiness behind. Lift your vision beyond the surface, beyond the dazzling performances of this world, and seek values that time cannot erode, that whispers cannot tarnish, that human schemes cannot undo. Instead of pouring all your yearning into outward glories, turn your heart toward what is eternal compassion, quiet, faith, patient, hope, and communion with the one who remains whole. When you place your heart entirely in things that are temporary, desiring recognition, accepting shallow relationships, or measuring your worth by achievements and praise, you build a fragile structure that shatters at the slightest tremor. But when you choose to nourish your soul with faith, with love that asks for nothing, with a hope that may be delicate but never extinguished, you will find your life anchored to an enduring pillar. Remember that the illusions of this world often clothe themselves in brilliance to deceive, like bright orbs polished outside, yet hollow within, outwardly praised, inwardly empty. What is truly precious rarely clamors for attention. It works quietly, steadily nurturing you from within, healing cracks in the soul that no fleeting radiance can ever reach. Therefore, instead of scattering your heart upon the noise of wealth and fame, listen to the rhythm of your own heart and the whisper of the one who never changes. Let your choices be guided by what endures, not by shallow desires. If you dare to look deeply, you will see that much of your pain arises from entrusting what is most sacred to things incapable of keeping it safe, giving reputation the power to determine your worth, handing others' words the authority to paint your portrait, placing hope in those who cannot keep their promises. When the promise is forgotten, when the candle of affection is blown out by the wind, it feels as though your whole world has been stolen away. This is the suffering of one who has built a house out of beautiful grains of sand, shimmering but fragile. Instead, learn to temper your offerings, reserving your deepest self for relationships rooted and enduring, and leave space for a love that is unconditional, a love that does not demand perfection before opening its arms, that does not retreat when you no longer fit some passing standard. As you begin to practice this, you will discover that sadness may still come, but it will no longer overthrow you. You will maintain an inner ground that cannot be overtaken by the storms outside. Let me speak to you with familiar images. The stage lights fade when night descends, the vanities of life turn into ashes, but there is another light that never depends on the attention of spectators, the light of truth, the light of love that transcends judgment. When you seek beauty and dignity in the fleeting, you imprison yourself in a spiral of restlessness. But when you turn away from false glitter toward the steady source of light, your chest expands as though you had finally drawn breath after being stifled for too long. That consolation never removes the realities of life. You still must feed the body, still face failures, still endure losses and tears. But within all of it lies a depth untouched by temporary loss, a depth that gives you strength to rise, to continue. You may ask, how can I discern eternal light from artificial light? The answer is not as difficult as you imagine. Artificial light proclaims itself with noise, craves affirmation, constantly demands validation. Eternal light is never loud, never dependent on a crowd to exist. It reveals itself through hearts that have been soothed, through wounds that have been healed, through quiet but steadfast actions. A lasting friendship does not always bring flattery, but it endures through time. A genuine faith needs no recognition to retain its value. A true hope still glows in the night, even when everything appears hopeless. Such things cannot be bought or sold, cannot be dictated by the marketplace of emotions, and do not wither with the seasons. Learn to see with long vision, with patience, with a heart unhurried, for only patience allows you to perceive hidden beauty. Do not fear releasing what clouds your sight. Relinquish the chase after praise. Abandon the habit of comparison. Let go of pouring all your hope into an unripe relationship. To release is not to fail. It is wisdom that preserves the precious for what is enduring. When you release, you create space for what is eternal to enter. When you cease being enthralled by the shallow, you begin to feel the subtle yet profound presence of an unchanging love. From that very place you will learn how to love without fear of being wounded, to hope without dread of disappointment, to trust without requiring constant proof. Let your heart become a field where eternal values are sown: patience, gratitude, generosity, and faith. Each day with small acts you water those seeds, a timely word of comfort, an embrace in another's pain, a moment of sincere listening instead of judgment. It is precisely such seemingly small deeds that build the enduring framework, not the grand displays of achievement. Do not underestimate the power of the simple. A fair word can rescue a soul. An honest action can rebuild trust. A silent sacrifice can become the foundation of undying love. By investing in such things, you weave a protective fabric for your life, a place where storms may bend the branches but cannot uproot the tree. And if you are holding on to broken objects, to fractured relationships, allow yourself to mend rather than discard or cling. Some things are worth saving while others need only a gentle release. The wisdom to distinguish between the two is itself a sign of a matured heart. Let inner illumination guide your choice. When a bond still has the potential to sprout again through genuine love, nurture it. When it only brings erosion and repeated wounds, learn to walk away to safeguard the finer part of yourself. Finally, believe in the value of the unseen. Prayer is not naive. Faith is not unrealistic. Hope is not self-deception. On the contrary, they are the very breath for those who wish to live deeply. When you learn to nurture the unseen, your life gains a depth no brilliance can buy. You will discover that even in the driest days, an underground spring still nourishes the roots. That even in the winter of despair, a bud waits to bloom. Look beyond what is visible, listen more closely to what is silent, and place your heart in values that cannot fade, so that each step you take is no longer a flight from decay, but a movement toward a life of depth, serenity, and enduring. Love. If you entrust it to me, I will guard it like a jeweler cradling a priceless gem. I will nourish it, heal it, and make it beat again, not out of fear or scarcity, but in fullness of love. I will not merely patch up the wounds. I will resurrect the parts you thought were dead. I will breathe life into what you thought could never live again by the power of resurrection that is in me. For in me, life is not mere survival, it is transformation. And every time you choose me, amidst 1,000 other voices, you choose true joy, not flashy joy that fades, but deep-rooted joy that surpasses emotion. Every time you turn your heart to me, you draw nearer to who you really are, the one I dreamed of, called forth, and prepared from eternity past. When you let go of the false, when you dare to say no to sin, you are not losing anything. You are gaining. You are taking one true step toward freedom, not the counterfeit freedom the world parades, but the liberty that only truth can give. And every step toward me, whether slow, trembling, or tear-filled, is a step into life. I receive you not because you are good enough, but because I love enough. With every heartbeat that returns to me, heaven rejoices. I do not greet you with cold eyes. I run to meet you with open arms. And I do not merely welcome you, I clothe you anew, place a new ring on your hand and restore you to your rightful seat. You are not a failure crawling back. You are an heir returning to your Father's house. If today you stand at a crossroads, choose me. If you hold in your hands a shattered heart, place it in mine. If you are weary of all that has faded, come back to what will never change. Return to the one who loved you when you had nothing left to give. Return to the rock, the only place where you can lay yourself down and truly rest. I am waiting, not at the end of your journey, but at your very next step. You need only turn, and I will be there. Close enough to touch, real enough to heal, loving enough to begin again. Now come near to me, open your heart, and offer your most honest prayers from the deepest place in your soul. Almighty God, my beloved Father, I come to you not with a mask, but with my true self, frail, wounded, and in need. You know me better than I know myself. You see the broken places within me, those cracks I've never had the courage to admit. But today, I no longer want to hide. I no longer want to keep running. I'm tired, Lord. I'm weary from trying to please everyone, weary from trying to live like someone I was never meant to be. Please hold me like a lost child returning home. Pour your love into the empty spaces within me, and teach me how to truly live in freedom in the identity you created for me. Father, the one who never abandons, thank you for not calling me by my failures, but by the name of love. Forgive me for the many times I chased after false light, believed lies, and placed my value in people instead of in you. Please heal the places in me where comparison, envy, and silent bitterness have been corroding my soul. I don't want to live a dry, artificial life, striving only to please the world. I want to be led by truth. Draw me close to you. Lift me out of shallow waters and lead me into the deep, where you alone are the source of my life. Holy Spirit, come and breathe new life into me. There are places in my soul that have long been withered, dreams that have decayed, parts of me I thought were dead. Please revive them. Remind me that I was not made merely to survive, but to live fully in you. I surrender to you every fear, every wound, every attachment that no longer belongs to me. Uproot the idols hidden in my heart and teach me how to put you back in your rightful place first above all else. Father, I thank you for never leaving me. Thank you for staying even on the days I turned away. Thank you for your loving gaze that never looked away, even when I fell. Thank you for not defining me by what I've done wrong, but by what you did right on the cross. Thank you for your patient love that never grows weary. May my heart never grow numb to that grace, but live each day with wholehearted gratitude. I praise you, Lord, for you are the one who begins and also completes. Thank you that you never write unfinished stories. Thank you that you did not create me only to forget me. Thank you that your plan for me is more beautiful than anything I could ever imagine. Even if I have yet to see the ending, I trust the author of my life. You never leave a sentence hanging. And because of that, I can rest in your hands. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong and thriving faith community.